In a small village nestled at the foot of a towering mountain, young Kofi was a well-respected man, known for his strength and kindness. He had come of age, and his parents were eager for him to choose a wife. One evening, an old prophet visited the village, known for his wisdom and visions of the future. Many villagers sought his counsel for their personal matters. Kofi, too, approached him, hoping to find guidance for his life. The prophet, with eyes clouded with age, gazed deeply into Kofi's eyes and spoke, "The woman you will marry is named Kate." The words echoed in Kofi's mind. The prophet smiled mysteriously and added, "You will find her when the time is right. She will be the one who complements your soul." Kofi was intrigued but confused. There were many women in the village, and how would he know which one was the right Kate? He left the prophet's hut that night feeling both uncertain and curious, unsure how to proceed. Days passed, and the village buzzed with activity as a great festival approached. Kofi attended, hoping to clear his mind. As the drums of celebration echoed, he found himself face to face with a beautiful young woman named Kate. Her laughter was like the sound of a stream flowing over stones, and her eyes sparkled like the stars in the night sky. They struck up a conversation and discovered they shared many interests, from nature walks to poetry. Kofi felt an undeniable connection, thinking, could this be the Kate? He was drawn to her warmth and grace, but deep down, he hesitated. Was this the one the prophet had spoken of, or was it merely a coincidence? As they parted ways, Kofi's heart was filled with a mixture of excitement and doubt. Weeks passed, and Kofi's mind still lingered on the first Kate. But as fate would have it, Kofi met another Kate at a neighbor's wedding. This Kate was regal, elegant, and poised. She had a strong presence, and when she spoke, her words were measured and wise. Kofi felt an immediate respect for her, as she seemed to possess both beauty and intellect. They spent the evening talking about their dreams and aspirations, and Kofi realized that he enjoyed her company. This could be her, he thought, but something deep inside told him to wait. The other Kate still lingered in his thoughts, leaving Kofi even more confused than before. Kofi began to grow anxious as the days passed. Each time he met someone new, they seemed to fit the description of what the prophet had described: kind-hearted, intelligent, and beautiful. He wondered if the name Kate was just too common, or if the prophet had given him a riddle that was impossible to solve. At night, he would lie awake, his mind racing with thoughts of the 5 women he had met, each one with her own charm and uniqueness. Could they all be the right Kate? He began questioning his ability to make the right decision and feared that he might never find the true Kate. One bright afternoon, while visiting the market, Kofi met a third Kate. She was a vibrant spirit, full of energy and enthusiasm. Her smile could light up a room, and her zest for life was contagious. As they talked, Kofi noticed her passion for helping others, as she worked tirelessly at the local orphanage, providing for the children in need. Kofi admired her selflessness, but he felt conflicted. While Kate Sam was everything he admired in a person, there was something that left him uncertain. He realized that no one woman seemed to stand out above the others. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing something essential. Kofi knew that the prophecy was clear: his future wife's name would be Kate. But what did that truly mean? He couldn't understand how 5 women, all named Kate, could be so alike yet so different. He visited the prophet's hut again, hoping for clarity. But when Kofi arrived, he learned that the prophet had passed away the day before. This news hit Kofi hard. The man who had given him the prophecy was gone, leaving no answers behind. Kofi stood in front of the prophet's hut, unsure of where to turn next. Was this a sign, or had the prophet left him with more questions than answers? In the days that followed, Kofi tried to push away the confusion that clouded his mind. One evening, while attending a gathering at the village chief's house, Kofi met yet another Kate. This Kate had a calm, serene presence, and her eyes seemed to hold wisdom beyond her years. As they spoke, Kofi realized that Kate Bowler had a deep connection to her spirituality and the ancestors of the village. Her insights about life, love, and family were profound, and Kofi found himself drawn to her peaceful nature. But once again, he was torn. Was this the Kate who was meant to be with him? Or was it someone else? Kofi couldn't shake the feeling that he was still missing something. Days turned into weeks, and Kofi's frustration grew. He had met 4 Kates, and yet he felt no closer to discovering which one was the right one. Each woman had a different quality that he admired, but none seemed to fulfill the prophecy in a way that made sense to him. Kofi became increasingly restless. He spent hours walking the village paths, trying to clear his mind, but his thoughts were consumed by the Kates. He could no longer tell if he was seeking a partner or merely trying to fulfill a prophecy. Was love truly a matter of destiny, or was he just chasing a name? In desperation, Kofi decided to visit the prophet's resting place in the hopes of finding some sort of answer. But when he arrived at the old hut, he found that the prophet was gone. He sat there for hours, reflecting on the old man's words. Kofi had hoped that somehow, the prophet's presence would provide clarity, but now he was left to navigate his journey alone. As the sun began to set, Kofi stood up, determined to keep searching for the right Kate. He realized that he might never fully understand the prophecy, but he had to trust in his heart and his instincts. The path ahead was uncertain, but Kofi knew he had to move forward. On the eve of a great harvest celebration, Kofi met the final Kate. She was elegant and gentle, yet strong. Her eyes were kind and her words thoughtful. Kate Ode was an artist, creating beautiful paintings of the world around her, capturing moments in time with a unique perspective. Kofi felt drawn to her artistic spirit, but once again, doubt lingered in his heart. As the night progressed, Kofi found himself deep in conversation with Kate Ode, feeling a connection that was undeniable. Yet, the same nagging doubt whispered in his ear, "Is this the one?" Kofi left the celebration with a heart full of questions, unsure of which Kate was truly meant for him. Determined to find the true Kate, Kofi decided to take a methodical approach. He could no longer rely on his initial feelings or the fleeting connections he shared with each woman. He would spend time with each of them, observe their actions, and see how they responded to different circumstances. Kofi believed that through these interactions, he would be able to uncover the deeper qualities that truly defined the right woman for him. He began to form a plan, where he would focus on understanding their hearts and minds, rather than just their outward beauty. Kofi invited Kate James to spend a day together, visiting the village market and talking about their childhoods. As they walked through the bustling marketplace, Kofi was struck by Kate James's generosity. She had a gift for making everyone around her feel welcome, whether it was the elderly vendors or the children playing in the streets. Her kindness seemed boundless, and Kofi began to admire her selflessness. As the day wore on, they sat down by the river, and Kate James shared the story of her life. She had grown up in a small village far from the main settlement, raised by a mother who had instilled in her a strong sense of compassion and responsibility. Kofi listened intently, feeling a deep admiration for her gentle spirit. But as the day came to a close, he felt uncertain. Was her kindness enough? Or was there something else he needed in a partner? Next, Kofi invited Kate Simon to visit the local library. Kate Simon had always been an avid reader, and their conversation flowed effortlessly as they discussed philosophy, history, and the world beyond their village. Kofi found her intelligence and curiosity captivating. She was articulate and thoughtful, and her ability to engage in deep conversations was unlike anyone else he had met. As the afternoon turned to evening, Kate Simon spoke of her dreams of building schools and helping others achieve knowledge. Her vision for the future was clear, and Kofi found himself inspired by her drive. But something felt missing. Her ambition was undeniable, but Kofi couldn't help but wonder if her focus on the future left little room for the present. Did she have the ability to love deeply, or was she too consumed by her own goals? Kofi's next encounter was with Kate Sam, who had always been known for her love of adventure. She took Kofi on a hike through the mountains, showing him hidden trails and secret places only known to a few. As they journeyed deeper into the wilderness, Kofi was amazed by her knowledge of the land. She seemed at one with nature, and her connection to the earth was powerful. As they rested by a secluded waterfall, Kate Sam shared her story. She had spent much of her life traveling, exploring new places, and seeking out new experiences. She was independent and free-spirited, never bound by tradition or convention. Kofi admired her strength and resilience but also realized that her wanderlust might keep her from settling down. Would she be able to commit to a life of stability and family? Or was she destined to roam forever, seeking the next adventure? Kofi invited Kate Bola to spend time at the village's spiritual center, where they could talk in a peaceful setting. Kate Bola had always been drawn to the spiritual world, and Kofi knew she would be able to offer him insights that no one else could. They spent the day meditating, talking about the ancestors, and discussing the importance of faith in their lives. As the day unfolded, Kofi learned that Kate Bola had a deep connection to the village's traditions and rituals. She was a spiritual guide to many, helping people find their path and offering counsel in times of need. Kofi found her wisdom soothing, and he was drawn to her calm and steady nature. But as the sun set, Kofi found himself questioning whether he was truly ready for such a deep commitment to spirituality. Could he match her devotion to faith, or was he searching for something else? Kofi's final exploration took him to Kate Ode, who was known for her artistic talents. She was a painter, and Kofi invited her to a quiet spot by the river, where they could paint together. As they sat in silence, creating their art, Kofi admired how Kate Ode could capture the world around her with such beauty. Her creativity was boundless, and her paintings seemed to breathe life into everything they touched. As they painted, Kate Ode shared her story. She had grown up in a family of artists and had always been drawn to the art as a way to express her emotions. Kofi admired her passion and her ability to see beauty in the world where others might overlook it. But as the day wore on, Kofi began to wonder if their connection was purely artistic. Could he build a life with someone who lived so deeply in our creative world? Or would their worlds be too different to sustain a lasting relationship? After spending time with each of the Kates, Kofi began to reflect on what he had learned. Each woman had something special to offer, but he still couldn't decide who the true Kate was. He made a list of their qualities and compared them: kindness, intelligence, adventure, spirituality, and creativity. But none of them seemed to stand out in every way. He sat by the river one evening, pondering the prophet's words, "She will complement your soul." What did that truly mean? Kofi realized that it wasn't just about finding someone who checked all the boxes. It was about finding someone who made him feel whole, someone who balanced his strengths and weaknesses. Still uncertain, Kofi saw the wisdom of the village elders. He gathered them in the village square and explained his dilemma. The elders listened carefully, nodding as he spoke. After a long pause, one elder spoke: "Kofi, love is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a journey that requires patience and trust. You must listen to your heart and look for the qualities that matter most in a partner. The right Kate will help you grow, not simply fill the spaces you think need filling. Kofi felt a sense of calm wash over him. Perhaps he had been too focused on the external qualities, and he needed to pay more attention to the internal qualities that truly mattered. That night, Kofi had a vivid dream. In the dream, the prophet appeared, smiling kindly. "Kofi," the prophet said, "you seek perfection, but perfection is not found in a name or a list of qualities. It is found in the union of two souls who are willing to grow together. Trust what your heart tells you, and you will find the right Kate." Kofi awoke with a sense of clarity. The dream had lifted a heavy weight from his chest. He understood now that he wasn't looking for someone who was perfect. He was looking for someone who would walk beside him on the journey of life, learning and growing together. Kofi decided to spend more time with each of the Kates, but this time, he approached the meetings with a new perspective. He wasn't just trying to check off qualities or compare them to his expectations. He was simply getting to know them more deeply, observing how they reacted to different situations, and seeing how they made him feel. He realized that this journey wasn't about finding perfection, it was about finding the one who felt like home. After his conversation with the elders and his dream about the prophet, Kofi felt more at peace with his search. He realized he had been too focused on looking for the perfect qualities, rather than considering the deeper connections between himself and each of the Kates. His first step was to revisit Kate James, the woman he had initially admired for her kindness and generosity. They spent a quiet day together in the village, helping the elders with small tasks and organizing food for the community feast. Kofi was struck once again by her selflessness. Her willingness to serve others without expecting anything in return was something rare. As they worked side by side, he could sense that she was genuinely at peace with herself, and that tranquility was something Kofi admired. As the day came to a close, Kofi reflected on his feelings. Kate James's heart was pure, and her kindness knew no bounds, but Kofi began to realize that he longed for more than just peace and giving. He needed someone who could spark his passion, challenge him, and help him grow. Kofi's next encounter was with Kate Simon, the intellectual woman who had captured his attention with her sharp mind and ambitious spirit. They visited the village's school, where Kate Simon was helping teach the children, encouraging them to ask questions and explore new ideas. Kofi was fascinated by her dedication to education and her belief that knowledge could change the world. Over lunch, Kofi shared his frustrations about the search for his true partner. Kate Simon listened carefully and offered insightful advice, explaining that love could only thrive when both partners were intellectually in tune with one another. Kofi was drawn to her logic and her ability to articulate her thoughts, but once again, he felt something missing. Kate Simon was brilliant, but her focus on the future and her career ambitions made Kofi wonder if she could commit fully to a life with him. As the sun set, Kofi realized that while Kate Simon's intelligence and drive were admirable, he yearned for a deeper emotional connection. Could someone so focused on ambition truly complement him in the way the prophecy had described? Next, Kofi decided to revisit Kate Sam, the adventurous spirit. He invited her to explore a hidden grove on the outskirts of the village, a place she had once told him was her sanctuary. As they trekked through the forest, Kofi felt the familiar sense of excitement and freedom that Kate Sam embodied. She seemed fearless, always moving forward, never looking back. They sat by a quiet stream, where Kate Sam spoke about her travels, her need for independence, and her desire to keep discovering new places. Kofi admired her boldness and courage, but as the conversation deepened, he felt the same inner conflict. While her adventurous spirit was inspiring, Kofi knew that he needed a partner who was ready to build a future together, someone who could settle down with him and share in the daily joys of life. Kofi left the grove that day with mixed emotions. Kate Sam's wild heart had shown him the value of freedom, but he knew that in order to build a life together, he needed a deeper sense of commitment and stability. Kofi's next encounter was with Kate Bowler, the spiritual guide. They spent the day at the spiritual center, meditating and reflecting on life's greater purpose. Kate Bowler led them in prayers and rituals that were both grounding and enlightening. Her presence was calming, and Kofi felt at peace in her company. As they sat by a fire later that evening, Kofi asked Kate Bowler about her view of love and commitment. She spoke about the importance of balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. For Kate Bowler, love was not just an emotion, it was a divine connection, a bond that transcended time and space. Kofi found her perspective profound, but he also realized that he wasn't sure he was ready to embrace love on such an abstract level. He respected Kate Bowler's devotion, but Kofi wanted something more tangible, something he could hold onto in the everyday moments of life. Kofi left their time together with newfound respect for Kate Bowler's spiritual depth, but he couldn't shake the feeling that her spiritual focus was a bit too distant from the kind of partnership he longed for. The final Kate Kofi spent more time with was Kate Ode, the artist. They spent the day painting in the open air, capturing the vibrant colors of the fields around them. Kofi was struck by her creativity and the way she could transform the simplest scenes into works of art. As they worked side by side, Kofi realized how deeply her art was intertwined with her soul. Everything she painted seemed to come from a place of deep emotion. In their conversation, Kate Ode spoke of her passion for capturing fleeting moments in time, but Kofi also noticed her tendency to retreat into her art, often ignoring the world around her. While he admired her dedication and the beauty she saw in life, Kofi wondered if her artistic soul was too detached from the practical realities of everyday living. Kofi left the day with Kate Ode feeling both inspired and conflicted. While her art spoke to his heart, he wondered if their worlds were too different. Could their connection grow into something that balanced both their passions and the responsibilities of life? After spending time with each of the Kates, Kofi found himself sitting alone by the river, deep in thought. He had learned so much about each woman, but he still didn't know which one was truly meant for him. He thought about the prophecy, about how the right Kate would complement his soul. But what did that truly mean? Was there one woman who could bring together all the qualities he needed in a partner? Kofi reflected on the lessons he had learned from each woman: Kate James's kindness, Kate Simon's intellect, Kate Sam's adventurous spirit, Kate Bowler's spiritual depth, and Kate Ade's artistic soul. He had discovered so much, but he still felt incomplete. His heart longed for something more, a connection that went beyond surface-level qualities. One evening, as Kofi sat beneath a tree, he had a moment of clarity. He realized that none of the Kates could be perfect in every way, but each of them had something he deeply admired. He understood now that the true Kate wasn't someone who would fulfill a checklist, but someone who would walk with him through life, sharing both the good and the bad, the quiet moments and the exciting adventures. In that moment, Kofi understood that the right Kate would be the one who made him feel whole, who helped him grow, and who accepted him for who he was, flaws and all. Kofi knew it was time to make a decision. He had spent so much time with the Kates, and he felt ready to trust his heart. He decided to spend one final day with each of them, not with the intention of comparing them, but to see where his heart truly led him. As he prepared for the final days of his search, Kofi felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This would be his moment to decide who he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and he knew that it was time to trust in his own feelings and instincts. Kofi spent the day with Kate James, revisiting the village market and helping the elders once more. But this time, their conversation was deeper. He told her about his doubts, about how he had been searching for something more than just surface-level qualities in a partner. Kate James listened, offering her wisdom and understanding. She spoke about the importance of love, not just as a feeling but as a choice to commit, to grow, and to support one another through life's challenges. Kofi felt a deep connection to her words, and he realized that the love he sought wasn't something to be found in a list of qualities. It was something that would grow over time, through shared experiences and mutual understanding. After spending the final day with each Kate, Kofi was finally ready to make his decision. He reflected on the journey, on all the lessons he had learned, and on the love he had found within himself for each of the Kates. He understood that none of them were perfect, but one of them was the one who would help him grow and build a future together. As the sun set on his journey, Kofi felt a deep sense of peace. He knew which Kate was truly meant for him. After days of reflection, Kofi stood at the edge of the village, gazing out over the horizon. He had spent enough time with each of the Kates to know which one his heart called for. The choice wasn't about perfection, it was about finding the person who felt like home, the one who could walk beside him, support him, and grow with him through the many seasons of life. Kofi made his way to Kate James's home, his heart beating faster with each step. As he approached, he found Kate James sitting outside, smiling serenely as she walked on a basket. She looked up, and their eyes met. In that moment, Kofi knew with certainty that she was the one he was meant to be with. Not because she was perfect, but because her soul matched his, and her kindness and selflessness complemented his heart's desires. Kofi took a deep breath and spoke, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Kate," he began, "I have spent time with each of the Kates, trying to understand my heart, my soul. And in that journey, I realized that my heart has always belonged to you. You have been a constant source of peace, and your love and care have touched me in ways I can't explain. Will you marry me and walk with me through this life?" Kate James's eyes sparkled, and she smiled, her voice soft yet strong. "Yes, Kofi. I have always known that we were meant to be together. I will stand by you, always." The news of Kofi's engagement to Kate James spread quickly through the village, and there was great joy in the air. The village elders performed a ceremony to bless their union, and the whole community gathered to celebrate. Kofi and Kate James were showered with gifts, and a grand feast was held in their honor. As the celebration continued late into the night, Kofi found himself reflecting on how far he had come. It wasn't just the search for the right woman, it was the journey of self-discovery, learning what truly mattered in love, and understanding that it wasn't about finding someone who was perfect, but someone who could be imperfectly perfect for him. Just as things were beginning to settle into happiness, Kofi faced an unexpected challenge. On the eve of their wedding, a mysterious traveler arrived in the village, bringing with him a troubling message. He spoke of an ancient curse that had been placed on Kofi's family line, a curse that said the true wife of the heir would not be chosen easily. Only after enduring a trial of great hardship would the couple truly prove their bond. The village elders, troubled by the news, called Kofi and Kate James to discuss the prophecy. They told them that before their marriage could proceed, they would have to face the trial together, testing their love and commitment. Kofi and Kate James, though shaken by the news, stood together. They were ready to face whatever came their way, knowing that their love was strong enough to withstand any challenge. The trial began the next morning. Kofi and Kate James were sent to the heart of the jungle, where they would face a series of tasks designed to test their strength, loyalty, and unity. The first challenge was simple, yet difficult. They were to find their way through a dense forest without speaking. They could only communicate through gestures and expressions, relying solely on their trust in each other. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Kofi and Kate James walked in harmony, using their senses to guide each other. It was a test of patience and understanding, and as they reached the clearing on the other side, they knew they had passed the first challenge. The trial was not about physical strength, it was about the strength of their connection. The second challenge was more daunting. Kofi and Kate James were led into a dark cave, where they had to navigate through winding passages filled with obstacles. The darkness was thick, and they could barely see their hands in front of their faces. Fear began to creep in, but Kofi reached for Kate James's hand, and together, they made their way through the darkness. As they stumbled through the cave, they encountered obstacles, sharp rocks, hidden pits, and eerie sounds that echoed through the walls. But with every step, they leaned on each other, offering words of encouragement and support. They knew that their bond was growing stronger with each challenge. Finally, they emerged from the cave, breathless but triumphant. The darkness had tested their courage, but their unity had guided them through. The final challenge awaited them at the river's edge. They were asked to cross a raging river, the current swift and dangerous. The water was cold and unyielding, and there was no bridge in sight. The task was simple: they had to cross together, relying on each other's strength to make it to the other side. Kofi and Kate James waded into the river, holding on to each other tightly. The current pulled at them, threatening to separate them, but they held firm, their love and trust in one another giving them the strength to continue. Slowly but surely, they made their way across, their hearts beating as one. When they finally reached the other side, they collapsed into each other's arms, exhausted but victorious. They had completed the trial, proving that their bond was unbreakable. With the trial behind them, Kofi and Kate James returned to the village, where the elders were waiting. They were greeted with cheers and applause, for it was clear that their love had passed the test. The elders performed the final ceremony, blessing their union and ensuring that their marriage would be strong and enduring. Kofi and Kate James's love had been tested in ways they never imagined, but they had emerged stronger than ever. The village rejoiced, and the preparations for the wedding began in earnest. The day of the wedding arrived, and the village was filled with excitement. The ceremony took place under the shade of an ancient tree, with the entire community gathered to witness the union of Kofi and Kate James. The air was thick with joy and anticipation as the bride walked down the aisle, her beauty radiating like the sun. Kofi stood at the altar, his heart full of love and gratitude for the woman he was about to marry. As they exchanged vows, Kofi spoke from the heart, telling Kate James that she was the one he had been searching for all along, and that he would love her forever. Kate James's voice trembled with emotion as she promised to stand by his side through all the trials and triumphs of life. They sealed their vows with a kiss, and the village erupted into cheers. Kofi and Kate James began their married life together, settling into a new rhythm. They worked side by side, tending to the farm, helping the villagers, and building a life full of love and laughter. Every day was a reminder of the strength of their bond, and they took joy in the simple pleasures of life. Despite the challenges they had faced, Kofi and Kate James knew that their love had been tested and proven. Their journey had not been easy, but it had made them stronger and more united than ever. As Kofi and Kate James sat together on their porch one evening, watching the sunset over the horizon, Kofi realized that their journey was only just beginning. They had faced many challenges, but there were many more to come. What mattered most was that they would face them together, side by side, with love and understanding. In that moment, Kofi understood the true meaning of the prophecy. The real Kate was not the one who was perfect, but the one who was meant to walk with him through every trial, every joy, and every moment of life. And so, they embarked on their new journey, hand in hand, ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that their love was strong enough to carry them through anything. After the excitement of the wedding, Kofi and Kate James began to settle into married life. The days pass in a blur of farm work, community involvement, and small domestic tasks. At first, it's a time of blissful adjustment, as they learn the rhythm of living together. They laugh together, share meals, and enjoy the quiet comfort of each other's company. However, as time goes on, they begin to notice the little things that test their patience. Kofi sometimes forgets to help with chores, and Kate James's perfectionist tendencies cause her to take on too much. Tensions rise in small ways, and their once easy connection starts to feel strained. Kofi realizes that marriage isn't just about love, it's about compromise and understanding. He decides to be more mindful of his responsibilities, while Kate James learns to loosen her grip on control and allow Kofi to share the load more evenly. After a particularly busy week, Kofi forgets to fetch water for the household, a task Kate James had asked him to do. When she points this out, Kofi becomes defensive, claiming he was too busy with other duties. What starts as a small disagreement escalates into a full argument, where both express frustrations they've been holding back. Kate James accuses Kofi of not taking their shared responsibilities seriously, while Kofi feels that Kate James's expectations are too high. For the first time in their marriage, they are truly at odds. The argument leaves them both feeling hurt and misunderstood. That night, Kofi reflects on what happened and realizes that the argument wasn't about the water, it was about the pressures they both felt to maintain their individual expectations in the marriage. They both apologized the next day, learning the importance of clear communication and understanding in their partnership. As Kofi and Kate James work through their disagreements, they learn how to communicate more effectively. They establish a new routine, one that acknowledges their individual strengths while also fostering teamwork. Kate James starts to delegate tasks more fairly, and Kofi makes an effort to be more proactive in helping around the house. They also begin to share their dreams and aspirations for the future. Kofi speaks of wanting to expand the farm and build a legacy, while Kate James reveals her desire to start a small business making handmade goods for the village. They encourage each other's ambitions and begin to support one another in ways they hadn't considered before. With this new sense of understanding, their relationship deepens, and they begin to truly grow together, not just as individuals, but as partners in every sense of the word. One morning, Kofi receives troubling news from the village elders. There is a serious drought affecting neighboring lands, and it threatens to spread to their own. The crop yields are dwindling, and the future of the village's food supply is uncertain. The news hits hard, especially after Kofi's plans for expanding the farm. Feeling the weight of the situation, Kofi turns to Kate James for support. She remains calm, reassuring him that they will get through this together. She suggests they start preparing a community garden, pooling resources with their neighbors to ensure everyone has enough food. Kofi, though initially overwhelmed, sees the wisdom in her approach and agrees. They begin working together, organizing the villagers and pooling their resources to combat the drought. It's a challenging time, but through their collective efforts, they begin to see hope on the horizon. Kofi learns that even in the face of hardship, working together with Kate James and the community makes them stronger. Amidst the tension of the drought, Kate James begins to feel unwell. She's exhausted, frequently dizzy, and her energy levels are lower than usual. At first, Kofi assumes she's just overworked, but when her condition worsens, he insists that she visit the healer. The healer examines her and reveals that Kate James is expecting a child. The news is both joyous and overwhelming. Kofi is thrilled, but at the same time, the burden of providing for a growing family weighs heavily on him. Kate James is equally excited but worried about the added responsibilities that come with motherhood. As they prepare for the new arrival, they face the challenge of balancing their work, the community garden, and the needs of their future child. Despite the strain, their bond deepens as they support each other through the ups and downs of pregnancy. with the impending arrival of their child, Kofi and Kate James begin preparing their home. They gather supplies, learn about childbirth, and attend the village's birthing classes. Kate James, though nervous about becoming a mother, finds comfort in Kofi's steady presence and support. Kofi, in turn, grows more excited with each passing day, imagining what life would be like with a child of their own. As the months go by, Kate James's health improves, and she becomes more confident in her role as a soon-to-be mother. The couple grows even closer, learning to balance their responsibilities and dreams, while also savoring the moments of joy and anticipation that come with expecting a child. After a long and challenging labor, Kate James gives birth to a healthy baby boy. The joy in their home is indescribable as they hold their son for the first time. Kofi is filled with a deep sense of pride and love as he gazes at the tiny face that will forever change their lives. Kate James is exhausted but overwhelmed with happiness. Together, they marvel at their child, grateful for the new chapter they've begun. The village celebrates the birth of the child, and Kofi and Kate James are overwhelmed by the love and support of their community. Parenthood proves to be more challenging than Kofi and Kate James initially anticipated. Late nights, sleepless mornings, and the constant care required for their newborn test their patience. They are both tired but committed to making it work. Kofi, who had been focused on the farm, now finds himself taking on more of the childcare responsibilities. Kate James, though grateful for his support, struggles with balancing motherhood and her dreams of starting her business. The couple has their moments of tension as they try to navigate the complexities of parenthood while maintaining their bond. Through it all, they learn to lean on each other, recognizing that they are in this together. Their love grows stronger as they face the challenges of raising their child and balancing their responsibilities. As the months go by, Kofi and Kate James grow more confident in their roles as parents. Their son flourishes, and their love for each other deepens as they share in the joy of watching him grow. They begin to find a new rhythm, adjusting their routines to accommodate their growing family. Kate James finally starts her small business, and Kofi's farm continues to thrive. They realize that by working together, they have built a strong foundation not just for their family but for the future they want to create. Their challenges have made them stronger, and they now face the world with renewed strength and purpose. As Kofi and Kate James sit together on their porch, watching their son play in the yard, they reflect on the journey they've shared. From the early days of their marriage to the trials they've overcome, they have built a life full of love, respect, and shared dreams. Kofi understands now that marriage isn't just about the grand moments, but about the small, everyday acts of love and support that make up a life together. And as he looks at Kate James, he knows that they have only just begun their journey, one filled with joy, challenges, and the promise of a bright future. Together, they are ready to face whatever the future holds, confident in their love and their commitment to each other. As their son grows into a curious toddler, Kofi and Kate James find themselves facing new parenting challenges. Their son is full of energy and mischief, often testing boundaries and demanding more attention. While Kofi embraces fatherhood with enthusiasm, Kate James feels the weight of balancing her business with the duties of motherhood. The pressure of trying to be everything to everyone begins to take a toll on her. Kofi notices her struggle and offers more help, but Kate James hesitates, afraid that relying on him too much might make her feel inadequate. She has always prided herself on being self-sufficient, and accepting help feels like a compromise she's not ready to make. Kofi, understanding her pride, reassures her that they are a team, and there's no shame in leaning on each other. Kate James's small business begins to face competition from a newcomer in the village, a talented woman who offers similar handmade goods at lower prices. This competitor's business threatens Kate James's ability to sustain her work and, by extension, the family's financial security. Kate James feels the pressure mounting, especially since she has poured her heart into her craft. She feels defeated and begins to doubt her abilities, wondering if she has what it takes to succeed. Kofi, always supportive, encourages her to find her unique value, to lean into the quality of her work rather than the price point. Together, they brainstorm new ideas to differentiate her business, and Kate James slowly regains her confidence. She starts adding personal touches to her goods, incorporating elements of their culture and history, which not only makes her products unique but also connects her more deeply with the community. Kofi begins to feel the weight of his family's legacy. He realizes that he must think about the future of his farm, not just for himself, but for his children and the village. He starts to consider how he can build a legacy, one that will provide for future generations. One day, Kofi visits the elders of the village, seeking advice on how to ensure the farm continues to thrive for years to come. The elders offer him valuable wisdom about sustainable farming and ways to expand his work without losing sight of the land's needs. As Kofi listens and learns, he starts to envision a larger dream for the farm, one that involves more of the village community. He talks to Kate James about creating a cooperative that could help the village become self-sustaining in the face of external economic pressures. Kate James is excited by the idea and begins planning a community-driven project that will benefit everyone. A tragedy strikes the village when one of Kate James's close friends, a young mother, passes away unexpectedly, leaving behind 2 children. Kate James is devastated by the loss, as she had been close to the woman and had often helped with her children. Kofi and Kate James both struggle to cope with the grief, but Kate James's sorrow becomes all-consuming. She withdraws from her business and her family, unable to focus on anything except the loss. Kofi tries to support her, but he is unsure of how to help her through such a heavy loss. Finally, Kate James realizes that while she can never forget her friend, she needs to find a way to honor her memory and move forward. She decides to take in the 2 children and raise them as her own, honoring her friend's legacy by ensuring that the children have a stable, loving home. With the arrival of her friend's children, Kate James and Kofi's household becomes more chaotic, but also more loving. Raising 2 additional children presents its own set of challenges, but Kate James finds that the act of nurturing these children helps her heal from the grief of her friend's death. Kofi, too, embraces fatherhood even more fully, taking on the additional responsibilities without hesitation. Together, they form a stronger bond as they work side by side, raising the children and ensuring they all feel loved and supported. Their relationship deepens as they learn to navigate the complexities of blended family life, and Kate James starts to see that love is not finite, it grows with every act of kindness and every sacrifice. As the seasons change, so do Kofi and Kate James's fortunes. Their farm is flourishing, and the cooperative they started is beginning to bear fruit. The community garden has grown into a successful, sustainable business, and Kate James's handmade goods are in demand again, thanks to her innovative touches. The village begins to recognize their efforts, and their work is celebrated. People from neighboring villages come to learn from Kofi and Kate James, admiring their teamwork, perseverance, and commitment to both family and community. Despite their success, Kofi and Kate James remain humble. They know that this fortune is the result of their hard work and the love they've invested in each other and their family. They understand that their wealth is not just measured in money, but in the strength of their relationships and the depth of their contributions to the community. A new challenge arises when a neighboring village suffers from an outbreak of disease. The illness quickly spreads, and the village becomes worried about the possibility of the disease reaching their own lands. Tensions rise as the community becomes fearful of what might happen next. Kofi and Kate James take action, organizing the village to increase hygiene practices and quarantine any affected areas. They work tirelessly alongside the elders and other community leaders, determined to protect their family and their people. In the midst of the crisis, Kate James's leadership skills shine as she calms the villagers and organizes efforts to care for the sick. As the threat of disease eventually subsides, Kofi and Kate James find themselves reflecting on the challenges they've overcome. The journey hasn't always been easy, but they have grown stronger together through every trial. They realize that love, while crucial, is not always enough to navigate the complexities of life. What has carried them through is their willingness to adapt, to listen, and to put in the work when it's needed. Their bond is no longer just about passion, it's about mutual respect, understanding, and the commitment to grow together, no matter what challenges come their way. Finally, after many years of hard work, challenges, and growth, Kofi and Kate James find a moment of peace. Their family is healthy, their community is thriving, and their bond is stronger than ever. The farm is thriving, and Kate James's business continues to grow. One evening, as the sun sets over the fields, Kofi and Kate James sit together in silence, enjoying the stillness. They know that life will continue to throw challenges their way, but they are confident in their ability to face them, hand in hand. As Kofi and Kate James look to the future, they know that their journey is far from over. There will always be challenges, but they also know that with each other, they can overcome anything. They continue to build their legacy, one of love, strength, and resilience. They are content, knowing that the most important things in life are the people they love and the community they've helped to build. With their family by their side, they look forward to a future full of hope, knowing that together, they can face whatever comes their way. Kofi and Kate James's children continue to grow, each one developing unique qualities that reflect the love and teachings of their parents. Their eldest son has inherited Kofi's love for the land, showing a natural talent for farming, while their daughter demonstrates Kate James's creativity and entrepreneurial spirit. The younger children also begin to show signs of their own potential. Kofi and Kate James, proud of their children, begin to realize that it is time to start preparing them for the future. They begin to teach them the skills needed to manage the farm, the community business, and the family's resources. Kate James takes their daughter under her wing, teaching her about running a business, while Kofi focuses on mentoring their son in the ways of farming. As the years pass, Kofi and Kate James find themselves growing older, and they begin to take on more advisory roles in the community. The village elders, recognizing their wisdom and leadership, invite them to join their council, where they can share their knowledge with the younger generation. At first, Kofi and Kate James hesitate, unsure of their ability to lead from a place of experience instead of physical strength. However, they soon realize that their years of hard work, perseverance, and dedication have given them a wealth of knowledge that can guide others. They agree to take on the role, working alongside the elders to help shape the future of the village. With the family's future on the horizon, Kofi and Kate James decide it's time to begin planning for what lies ahead. They realize that while they have worked tirelessly to build a secure future, the time has come for their children to take on more responsibilities. Kofi wants to ensure that the farm remains a sustainable source of income, while Kate James wants to pass on her knowledge of business and craftsmanship. They sit down with their children to discuss the future, setting clear expectations and goals. Each child expresses their desires for the future. Some want to continue in the family business, while others dream of pursuing different paths. Kofi and Kate James encourage them to follow their hearts, but they also emphasize the importance of community and shared responsibility. The village hosts a celebration to honor Kofi and Kate James for their many years of service and dedication to the community. People from all over gather to celebrate their contributions, with speeches, music, and dancing. The celebration is a reflection of the love and respect the village has for the couple and the legacy they have built together. Kofi and Kate James, though humbled by the recognition, feel a deep sense of gratitude. They realize that their greatest achievement is not the wealth they've accumulated, but the relationships they've built and the impact they've had on others' lives. One of the village's most respected elders, who has been a mentor to Kofi and Kate James, passes away. His death leaves a deep void in the village, and Kofi and Kate James mourn the loss of a man who guided them through many of their toughest decisions. They are called upon to help lead the community through the grieving process and to honor the elder's legacy. In the aftermath of his death, Kofi and Kate James reflect on their own legacy and the roles they will play in the years to come. They realize that while they may not be able to live forever, the work they've done and the lives they've touched will carry on long after they are gone. Kofi and Kate James begin to actively teach their children and the youth of the village the lessons they've learned throughout their lives. They hold regular workshops, teaching sustainable farming practices, business strategies, and the importance of community. Kofi works alongside his son to teach him about the land, while Kate James passes down her skills in business and craftsmanship to the next generation of women. The children and young people in the village respond with enthusiasm, eager to learn from their elders. Kofi and Kate James feel a sense of fulfillment as they see the younger generation taking the knowledge they've passed on and using it to further the village's prosperity. As the years go by, Kofi and Kate James step back from their active roles in farming and business. Their children, now adults, take on more responsibility in the family's endeavors. The farm continues to thrive under their son's leadership, while their daughter leads the community business with Kate James's guidance. Kofi and Kate James find joy in watching their children succeed, knowing that the legacy they've built is in good hands. They continue to offer advice and wisdom, but they now take a more passive role, content to enjoy the fruits of their labor and watch their children create their own paths. As they enter the later years of their lives, Kofi and Kate James take time to reflect on their journey. They sit together in the evening, watching the sun set over the land they've worked so hard to cultivate. They remember the early days of struggle, the challenges they overcame, and the love they've shared. They realize that while the world around them has changed, their love for each other and their commitment to their community has remained constant. They are content, knowing that they've built something that will last long after they are gone. Kofi and Kate James gather their children, the village elders, and the community for a ceremony to formally pass the torch to the next generation. It is a symbolic moment, marking the transition from one era to the next. Kofi and Kate James speak to the community, sharing their gratitude and encouraging the younger generation to carry forward the values of love, hard work, and community that they have instilled. Their children, now fully capable leaders, step forward to accept the responsibility of leading the family and the village. Kofi and Kate James watch with pride as the next chapter of their legacy begins. As Kofi and Kate James grow older, they find peace in knowing that the legacy they've created is secure. Their children are thriving, the community continues to prosper, and the lessons they've taught are being passed down. They have achieved everything they set out to do and more. In their final years, Kofi and Kate James are content, surrounded by family, friends, and the community they helped build. They are at peace, knowing that their love, hard work, and dedication have left an indelible mark on the world. As Kofi and Kate James watch their children and the younger members of the community take on more responsibilities, they are filled with pride. The farm is more successful than ever, and Kate James's business continues to grow as the next generation of artisans and entrepreneurs builds on her teachings. The village, under the leadership of their children, has become a model of self-sufficiency and prosperity. Kofi and Kate James no longer lead the way directly, but their influence is felt in every decision made, from farming practices to business strategies. Though they are no longer at the forefront, they remain pillars of wisdom and support for their family and the village. They are content, knowing that their legacy is thriving, and that the community they built is in capable hands. With the village thriving, Kofi and Kate James enjoy a period of joy and peace in their later years. They are surrounded by family and friends, and the joy of seeing their children and grandchildren succeed fills their hearts with happiness. One day, their eldest son and his wife announced the arrival of their first child, marking the beginning of a new generation in the family. Kofi and Kate James joyfully prepare for the arrival of their grandchild, eager to share their wisdom and love with the next generation. Kofi and Kate James's son begins to implement new ideas on the farm, incorporating modern farming techniques while maintaining the sustainable practices they've passed down. As the land evolves, he makes plans to expand their crops and introduce new, environmentally friendly practices to ensure the farm remains successful for generations to come. Kofi, though no longer in charge, offers his son guidance and wisdom, while supporting his vision for the future. Together, they work to preserve the land and ensure that it continues to provide for the family and the village. As they grow older, Kofi and Kate James spend more time reflecting on their love and the life they've built together. They sit by the fire in the evenings, reminiscing about their journey, from the challenges they faced in their youth to the triumphs of their later years. They talk about the sacrifices they made for each other and their family, the love they shared, and the joy they found in their community. Their love has endured through hardships and celebrations, and they know that it will continue to endure long after they are gone. One evening, as Kofi and Kate James sit together under the stars, they have a profound spiritual experience. The spirits of their ancestors seem to visit them, offering guidance and blessings for the future. Kofi feels the presence of his father, and Kate James feels her mother's comforting touch. They realize that while their physical bodies may age, their spirits remain strong, and they are connected to the generations that have come before and those that will come after. The spirits of the past remind them that their legacy will live on forever, in the land, in their children, and in the hearts of the people they've touched. As the years pass, the village continues to prosper. The cooperative grows, bringing together families from neighboring villages to share resources and trade. Kate James's business has become a model for women in the surrounding areas, and many young women come to her for advice on starting their own businesses. Kofi and Kate James feel immense pride in the success of the village, knowing that their efforts have helped create a thriving, self-sustaining community. They continue to offer advice when needed, but they are no longer the leaders. The village is now strong enough to stand on its own, with a new generation of leaders ready to guide it forward. As time moves forward, Kofi and Kate James begin to feel the weight of their years. Their bodies are not as strong as they once were, and they know that the time to transition into the final phase of their lives is near. They begin to talk about their wishes for the future, making plans for how they want to be remembered. They pass on final pieces of wisdom to their children and grandchildren, ensuring that their legacy will be carried forward. They also begin to make arrangements for their eventual departure, ensuring that their land and their family are well cared for. Before they take a step back entirely, Kofi and Kate James host one last grand celebration for their family, friends, and the village. It is a joyous occasion, filled with music, dancing, and feasting, as the community comes together to celebrate the incredible journey Kofi and Kate James have had. They share stories of their adventures, their triumphs, and their love, passing on their wisdom to the younger generation. The entire village honors them with gifts and kind words, and Kofi and Kate James are deeply touched by the outpouring of love and appreciation. Kofi and Kate James spend their final days surrounded by their loved ones. Though their health begins to decline, they remain peaceful, content with the knowledge that they have done everything they set out to do. They spend time reflecting on the life they built together, reminiscing about the good times and expressing their love for each other. As their bodies grow weaker, they are at peace, knowing that their legacy will live on through their children, grandchildren, and the village they've helped create. They take comfort in the fact that they will always be remembered and that their love will never fade. Kofi and Kate James pass on, leaving behind a rich legacy of love, community, and resilience. Their children and grandchildren, along with the village, carry on their work, ensuring that their teachings continue to shape the future. The farm thrives, Kate James's business becomes a thriving model for other communities, and the village remains strong and self-sufficient. In the final moment of the story, the village gathers around the land Kofi and Kate James once walked, paying their respect to the couple's memory. Their spirits, though gone from the physical world, are felt in the land, in the hearts of their descendants, and in the community they built. Years after Kofi and Kate James's passing, their children gather together to remember their parents and celebrate the legacy they left behind. They share stories, anecdotes, and memories of the love that Kofi and Kate James shared. Their son, now the leader of the farm, reflects on how his father taught him not just to tend the land, but to treat it with respect and love. Their daughter continues to run the family business with the same compassion and innovation that Kate James showed her. As they sit together, they realize that much of the wisdom and strength of their parents has been passed down to them. They vow to honor that legacy and continue building on it for future generations. The farm, once the heart of Kofi and Kate James's hard work, is thriving under the stewardship of their son. He has expanded it even further, introducing new crops and sustainable practices. The land is abundant, and the community is benefiting from the produce. Farmers from surrounding villages come to learn from him, just as Kofi once mentored them. Kofi and Kate James's teachings are alive in every tree planted, every seed sown. Their commitment to the land and the village has been passed down, and the farm is no longer just a source of income, but a living testament to the couple's love for each other and the earth. Kate James's business has evolved into a thriving network that extends far beyond the village. Under the leadership of their daughter, the business has grown into a cooperative that helps women from various villages build their own businesses, providing them with mentorship and resources. Kate James's entrepreneurial spirit lives on in every woman who finds success through the cooperative, and the business now supports hundreds of families, ensuring financial independence and empowerment for many. The values of creativity, resourcefulness, and community continue to be at the heart of the business. As the village continues to flourish, the children and grandchildren of Kofi and Kate James play vital roles in its future. They have taken up leadership positions in the community, continuing the legacy of their grandparents. The village now has its own council, made up of the younger generation, who are guided by the teachings and wisdom of their parents and elders. The spirit of collaboration that Kofi and Kate James fostered in the village lives on, and the council works together to address the challenges and opportunities that arise. The younger leaders show great wisdom, much of which they learned from the example set by their parents. The impact of Kofi and Kate James's work spreads far beyond their village. People from neighboring villages begin to adopt the sustainable farming practices they pioneered, and the cooperative model Kate James created inspires others to build similar businesses. The couple's legacy becomes a model for others, and their names are spoken with reverence in communities near and far. Even distant villages, once unaware of the couple's work, now reach out for advice and guidance. Kofi and Kate James's influence extends like ripples across a pond, touching lives in ways they could never have imagined. As the village continues to thrive, the next generation begins to prepare for their future roles as leaders. Kofi and Kate James's grandchildren, now young adults, are eager to continue the work their grandparents started. They attend leadership training and work alongside their parents to gain the skills necessary to manage the farm, the business, and the village's resources. Kofi and Kate James's legacy is not just about prosperity, it's about responsibility. The next generation understands that they are the stewards of this legacy and that it is their duty to uphold the values of community, love, and hard work that their grandparents instilled. As a symbol of Kofi and Kate James's enduring legacy, the village decides to erect a monument in their honor. The monument is not just a tribute to their hard work and love, but also a reminder of the values they held dear. The people of the village gathered to build it, with every family contributing in some way. The monument is a beautiful sculpture depicting Kofi and Kate James, side by side, holding hands, their expressions peaceful and content. The monument stands at the heart of the village, a constant reminder of the couple's dedication to their land, their community, and each other. Kofi and Kate James's children and grandchildren continue to meet regularly to discuss the future of the farm and the business. Though they are spread out across different villages now, they remain united in their commitment to their shared legacy. They come together to plan and strategize, ensuring that their family remains strong, both in the material and spiritual sense. They also hold ceremonies to honor their grandparents' memory, reaffirming the values that Kofi and Kate James passed down. These gatherings bring the family closer together, fostering unity and love across generations. Kofi and Kate James's village has become a beacon of hope and success for nearby communities. Leaders from surrounding villages visit to learn about the cooperative system, sustainable farming, and the importance of community. What was once a small village is now a thriving center of innovation and support, a direct result of Kofi and Kate James's leadership. The village has become a model for others, and its influence continues to grow. As word of their success spreads, other communities seek to replicate their systems and practices, ensuring that their legacy extends far beyond their immediate surroundings. As the years go by, the generations that followed Kofi and Kate James continue to share their story. Children hear of their love and dedication through stories passed down by parents and grandparents. The memory of Kofi and Kate James's love becomes a cherished part of family traditions, and their story is retold to inspire future generations. Their legacy lives on in every aspect of village life: the land they worked, the business they built, and the love they shared. Kofi and Kate James may have passed from the physical world, but their spirits continue to guide their family, their village, and beyond. As the village celebrates the success of the new generation, a grand ceremony is held to honor the memory of Kofi and Kate James. The elders, now venerable and wise, declare that the ancestors are watching over them and blessing the community for its continued prosperity. During the ceremony, the spirit of Kofi and Kate James is said to visit in the form of a gentle breeze that sweeps through the village. People feel the warmth of their love, as if the couple is still among them, guiding and protecting them. The village becomes a spiritual center, attracting pilgrims from far and wide who seek the wisdom and blessings of Kofi and Kate James's spirit. Kofi and Kate James's children, now elderly themselves, gather to pass down the torch to their grandchildren. They speak of their parents' dedication to love, community, and hard work. They share their own experiences of growing up with such loving guidance and how their parents' values shaped their lives. Each grandchild, now in their prime, takes on leadership roles within the village, the farm, and the business. With pride, they promise to uphold the family's traditions and to continue building the legacy their grandparents created. The village is poised to thrive for generations to come, a testament to the strength of the foundation laid by Kofi and Kate James. As the next generation begins to take on leadership roles, the village organizes a grand feast in celebration of Kofi and Kate James's legacy. It is a joyful occasion filled with music, dancing, and storytelling. Elders recount tales of Kofi and Kate James's love, their hardships, and their triumphs, while younger members of the community prepare new dishes and share innovative ideas for the future. The feast symbolizes the harmony of past and future, as the village comes together to celebrate everything Kofi and Kate James built. The love between them has become a guiding light for the entire community, one that will never fade. A memorial is constructed at the heart of the village, a beautiful garden that symbolizes Kofi and Kate James's love and the legacy they left behind. The garden is filled with trees, flowers, and stones engraved with messages of gratitude and remembrance. It becomes a place of reflection for all who visit, a quiet spot for those seeking peace and guidance. Over the years, the memorial becomes a site of pilgrimage, where people come not only to honor Kofi and Kate James but to reflect on their own lives and the legacies they wish to create. The garden is a living tribute to the couple's enduring love and influence. As the years pass, Kofi and Kate James's grandchildren raise families of their own. Their children grow up hearing the stories of their great-grandparents and the impact they had on their village. The values Kofi and Kate James instilled continue to be passed down, shaping the lives of new generations. The love between Kofi and Kate James has become a model of enduring partnership, one that has inspired generations to value love, hard work, and community. Their example has shown that true love is not just about personal happiness, but about creating something lasting for the people you care about. As the generations continue to grow, the village holds a special day each year in honor of Kofi and Kate James. It is a day of remembrance, where families gather, share meals, and recount stories of the couple's lives. The day becomes an important tradition, ensuring that Kofi and Kate James's legacy is never forgotten. On this day, the younger generation learns about their heritage and the importance of maintaining the values that Kofi and Kate James held dear. Their memory lives on in every heart, and their story is passed down with each telling. The village, now led by the great-grandchildren of Kofi and Kate James, has evolved into a thriving hub of innovation and culture. The leadership continues to reflect the couple's values, blending tradition with modern advancements. The cooperative system they established has expanded, helping many more villages rise to prosperity. The younger leaders, who once learned from Kofi and Kate James's children, now pass down their teachings to the next wave of leaders. The cycle of leadership, love, and legacy continues, as the village grows stronger and more interconnected with the outside world. One of Kofi and Kate James's great-grandchildren, a young woman named Abina, decides to carry out a dream that Kofi and Kate James once spoke of in their later years, a school to educate the children of surrounding villages. With the support of the community, Abina establishes the school, which becomes a beacon of hope for children from many villages. The school, named after Kofi and Kate James, offers free education to children, focusing on values such as respect for nature, community building, and the importance of love and compassion. It is a living tribute to Kofi and Kate James's commitment to education and nurturing the next generation. In their old age, the last surviving child of Kofi and Kate James passes away peacefully. They are laid to rest beside their parents, and the family gathers to honor the entire legacy of the couple. The farm and the business continue to thrive, and the village stands as a testament to the strength, love, and community that Kofi and Kate James built. The family knows that even though Kofi and Kate James have passed, their influence will never fade. They are eternally present in the hearts of their descendants and in the village that will forever carry their name. The story of Kofi and Kate James comes to an end, but their love remains immortal. Their names are spoken with reverence, and their story is told for generations to come. The family, the village, and the world remembered them as a couple whose love transcended time and whose actions created a ripple effect that touched the lives of many. And so, their love lives on forever, eternal in the hearts of all those who follow in their footsteps.